Daniel Sports Central, big over a college football game preview and prediction on a big matchup coming up here in the Big Ten in Week 13 of this 2021 college football season. And it'll be over the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Nebraska Cornhuskers. Huge matchup for both these teams as we head into Week 13. We got the Hawkeyes on one side. This team is 9-2, and they've got a good chance to make a good bowl game. But first, they got to get past Nebraska. Nebraska's 3-8. They've got no shot at a bowl game, and this is the final game of the season for the Cornhuskers, but they got nothing to lose heading into this matchup. So obviously a huge matchup for both these teams heading into Week 13. We'll be going very full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting out with your team trends. Iowa beat Illinois 33-23 in their last game. They're 9-2, 3-game winning streak as well. And it's been quite a season, to say the least, for the Hawkeyes. They were ranked number 2 at one point this season, and obviously they've kind of fallen off since then. They took a bad loss to Wisconsin, lost to Purdue, and they've won 3 games straight to mediocre opponents, but we'll see whether or not Iowa can get a win against. I like to call Nebraska. Nebraska's the best bad team of all time. That's the best way you can describe Nebraska's season. They lost to Wisconsin 28-35 on the road this past weekend. Wisconsin was ranked 15th in the nation. They're 3-8 somehow. They've lost 6 straight games heading into this matchup as well. And the thing that really shocks me about this game here is Nebraska is actually favored by 3.5. This is a 3-8 football team that has lost 6 straight games, going up against a top 20 opponent that is 9-2, and Nebraska is favored by 3.5 in this matchup. Very interesting spread there. So technically, it's actually an upset if Iowa wins this game against a 3-8 football team. But yeah, it's on Black Friday, November 26th. Lincoln, Nebraska. Cornhuskers are the home team here. 12:30 p.m. Central Time is your kickoff time as well. And Iowa is currently ranked 17th in the AP poll. That could be different. I'm sure it will be different in the college football playoff rankings. I wouldn't be surprised if Iowa was ranked in the top 15 in the CFP rankings for this week. But yeah, spread Nebraska 3.5, over/under is 44.5, so it's expected to be a low-scoring defensive game, and I totally agree with that. I think it's going to be a lower-scoring game for sure. We will not be seeing a shootout here by any means in this matchup. FPI is going Nebraska 57.7%, so even the FPI is going Nebraska, and it's not incredibly close either, 57%. Series history, Nebraska leads it overall 29-19, but the win streak is Iowa by 6. So shockingly enough, Iowa has won 6 straight games, and the last time Nebraska beat Iowa was 2014. It's been a long time since Nebraska was able to knock off Iowa. Stat comparison for this matchup: Iowa's got 25 points per game, 16 points allowed, 177 pass yards a game, 115 rush yards, and then for yards allowed, 211 passing, 103 for rushing. So obviously for the Hawkeyes, defensively, that's really what's been keeping this team in games. Defense has been outstanding for the Hawkeyes, allowing 16 points per game. And offensively, though, kind of a different story. They've had a few issues. Spencer Petras is a decent quarterback, but by no means is he a outstanding quarterback or a top-tier quarterback. So, offensively, this team has been very inconsistent. They've had a decent game or two, but, once again, inconsistencies offensively have been an issue for the Hawkeyes. As for Nebraska, kind of a similar story. Defensively, they've been outstanding all season. They allowed 26 points to Ohio State a couple of weeks ago, which, by the way, the Buckeyes just put up like 56 points on Michigan State. So, yeah, Nebraska defensively has been good. Offensively, they've gotten better. I will say that. First half of the season, they looked horrible, and that's what was killing games for the Cornhuskers was their offense and penalties and offensive line and Adrian Martinez making bad decisions, which Martinez continues to do that, and that's a big reason why Nebraska has lost some games, is because he's one of the, I would say, least clutch players of all time. That's the best way I can describe it. He just can never pull off a game-winning drive. They can get close, but that's about it for Nebraska. But yeah, 272 pass yards a game. Adrian Martinez, though, don't get me wrong, he's an outstanding quarterback. For real, that's a very talented quarterback who has been playing with Nebraska for a few years, and he's gotten some good experience. But when it comes to winning games, he just can't do it. I'm just gonna be honest. Rush yards a game, 185, and then for yards allowed, 223 passing, 143 for rushing. But once again, defensively, Nebraska is very underrated defensively. They do have a couple injuries defensively, but otherwise, it's been outstanding for the Cornhuskers this season. Recent matchups, Iowa's got, once again, 3 wins straight here. They beat Illinois 33-23, beat Minnesota 27-22, and beat Northwestern 17-12. So all 3 of those wins are wins, but they're close wins and they are not very impressive. Northwestern is a terrible football team, and Iowa beat them by 5. And Illinois, of course, is a mediocre football team to say the best in the Big Ten, and they beat them by 10. Lost to Wisconsin 7-27, lost to Purdue 7-24. So ever since that Purdue game, this team has just not looked the same, especially in comparison to how they played in the first half of the year when they got all the way up to number 2 in the nation. Nebraska lost to Wisconsin, lost to Ohio State. All of these games are close against decent football teams. Michigan lost to them by 3. Lost to Minnesota by a touchdown, lost to Purdue. Minnesota and Purdue games are kind of inexcusable. Both those games should be wins for the Cornhuskers. But Wisconsin, Ohio State, Michigan, Michigan State, Oklahoma. This team has kept it close in so many games this season, and it has been a brutal season for Nebraska, to say the least. I mean, losing to Wisconsin by a touchdown, I mean, you keep it so close every single game. Ohio State allowed 26 points. Michigan should have been a win. Michigan State should have been a win. Oklahoma, once again. It just comes down to final drives and winning the game in the last few minutes. And unfortunately, this football team, offensively especially, just cannot do it this season. It's been tough. Some key points: Iowa's 9-2. They've got talent, but have been inconsistent. Big Ten title chances are on the line for the Hawkeyes here. I mean, Wisconsin is currently the favorite to win the Big Ten West. I think if Wisconsin wins this weekend, story's over. They're going to the title game. But if Wisconsin loses to Minnesota, I think Iowa's got a chance if they can win this game here. But we'll see what happens. Defense is one of the best in the Big Ten for the Hawkeyes, so that's definitely a big positive for the team. Nebraska, the best bad team of all time. That's the best way I can say it. I mean, this Nebraska team is 3-8. Don't know how it's possible. Statistically, it's almost impossible that Nebraska is 3-8 right now. By the way that they've been playing defensively, statistically, I mean, this team has gotten more points than allowing points in conference, and they're 1-8 in the conference, so or 1-7. Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, 3.5 point favorites despite being 3-8. Also crazy stat line there, and Huskers have nothing to lose. So I mean, we'll see. Scott Frost is back next year. We'll see. I mean, this is basically Nebraska's bowl game here. I mean, you got we'll see what Nebraska does. But anyway, let's get to the prediction here for Iowa and Nebraska. I'm going to go Cornhuskers here. I'm actually predicting the favorites here, 24-21. So this is not an upset if Nebraska wins the game. And I think Cornhuskers, this is a time where it finally comes through. It's been a brutal season. I mean, game in, game out. You've had so many close games, and you've played well all season long. But Nebraska finally gets it done in this game, 24-21. And Iowa, I mean, just looking at the way they've been playing the past 5 games, it's been not very impressive. Once again, if you look at those recent 5 matchups that Iowa's played, they've got 3 straight wins, but not very convincing wins to pretty mediocre opponents. And they also, when they went to Wisconsin, they got blown out 7-27, and they also lost to Purdue 7-24 back when they were in a high-pressure situation at home. So for Iowa here, I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawkeyes won. This is basically a coin toss here because of how much is at stake. But Nebraska, 24-21. This is the last game of the season for Nebraska, and I'm sure that they're going to throw the kitchen sink at the Hawkeyes. I mean, this is it for Nebraska. So I expect the Cornhuskers to come out. They're going to have a great game, and they're going to get the win, 24-21. Over-under is 44.5. I am taking the over for this game, just barely. Also, tough thing to predict there is the over-under, but I do expect Iowa to cover, or Nebraska to cover, because they are the favorites in this game. Well, actually, yeah, because Nebraska is actually a favorite by 3.5. So Iowa, I do have them covering it right now, but once again, it's tough to predict the spread, especially considering Nebraska is the current favorite. Probability, Nebraska 55%. So once again, going to be a close game. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this game, and I appreciate you guys all watching. As always, stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. I'll see you later.